Kuzu Zampola, my name is Damcho. Hello from COP28 Dubai. I am delighted to have my colleague here, Sonam Pem, who is the Executive Director of Tarayana Foundation. And I want to talk to her about Tarayana, of course, and then, of course, why Tarayana is here at COP28. So, Sonam, can you tell us about, maybe briefly about Tarayana Foundation?
So Tarayana is one of the civil society organizations, and we work at the grassroots level, and we work in some of the most vulnerable communities in the country across all the districts. And our main focus is poverty reduction, and that we do it through a holistic approach, whereby we start with the basic needs like housing improvement and then go on to include water and sanitation facilities, food and nutrition security, skills development, and eventually enabling access to credit.
I was told that, poverty reduction, but I was told that Tarayana focuses a lot on women. Is it women or in poverty in general?
It's poverty in general, but the thing is, I think in all the countries, especially in the remote settings, men move out for seasonal migration, for other opportunities, and it's mostly women who are left behind in the communities. Therefore, most of our programs are geared towards women empowerment.
I'm also involved in snowman race, and we did climate for women. And what we've realized is women are the most vulnerable and most affected by climate change, because if there is no water, then they have to travel long to get water. Same thing with firewood. So is it why you guys are here for COP28 to tell the stories of the communities that you all help?
Yes. Actually, that's one of the main reasons why we're here. We're here to share our stories of how communities at the grassroots are impacted because of climate change, and what should be done to help them adapt to these changes, and also share about what, as a civil society organizations, we are doing in terms of mitigation and adaptation works.
I'll come to that later. I just wanted to ask you about the projects that you all do. We share office building back in Bhutan, and you have this wonderful photos of what Tarayana does. It's just amazing, the things. How many projects so far have you all done for how many communities in Bhutan, and what are some of the projects? Like, I know you guys built even houses for them.
So in terms of project, it must be close to 100, but in terms of villages, it's reaching close to 600 villages across all the 20 districts. And as I said, what we do is a holistic approach, because I said this in my presentation, what the government does is they provide the services in a sector-based approach, where all the sectors would only focus on their service and not look left and right, whereas we are looking at these issues from the community's perspective, and we don't see their issues. We cannot segregate their issues in sector base. So there were so many incidences where we found that one service was provided this year, and another part of it will come after months or years. That was one of the main reasons why we had this holistic approach. So we are talking about times when these remote communities did not have access to road, electricity. So sometimes we are spending 3 days just to reach the village, 3 days trekking just to reach the village. And when we reach there, if we just do a small part of our work and come back, then another agency will need to go back, invest the same amount of resources to do their part. And then we thought, okay, while we're here, why can't we do everything together so that communities receive these services in one package, not in bits and pieces? Because when you work towards lifting these communities out of poverty, if you do provide these services in bits and pieces, it's going to take forever for them to come out of poverty. And for us, we developed this model because of our on-the-ground experiences. Right now, if you look at our programs, as I said, we have housing improvement, water and sanitation, skills development, food security. These are all interlinked. You cannot provide one and leave the other. So that's the main reason why we had this integrated approach.
It's like, I work for Department of Tourism, right? So we do the tourism thing, and we don't look at other things, because there's other agencies responsible for water. So it's good that Tarayana is putting this together, as a holistic, one package for the communities and individuals living in the communities. I also want to ask you, from your experience, of what are some of the projects that you feel very proud? I know you feel proud of all the projects you've done, but what are some, can you tell us maybe some projects that you feel very proud that you're like, oh, we have done this, and this is something that our vision is this?
I think Tarayana in the country is known for our housing program more than any of the other programs that we do, and we're very proud of that initiative. That's
Building new houses, right?
Yes, actually, it's facilitating and building new houses. We don't go there and build the houses, but what we do is mobilize the communities, put them into groups, and then they help each other build the houses. So we just provide the materials and some skilled labor costs, but they do the work. So in the process, it's not just building a structure, but at the same time, it's building the community vitality, the cohesiveness, enhancing the cohesiveness. So it's literally about, building the community, because we're talking about communities where, families are still living in these one-room hut bago.
Yes.
And then we are providing like so many different services, different stakeholders, including the government, and you expect them to, make some income and build their own houses. But that's not the reality.
Yes.
For them, owning or even building a house is a far-fetched dream. And here, when we talk to them about, improving their houses, this need is there. But when we do the consultations, they'll not tell us that they need a housing, because they'll tell us that they need road, electricity, like it's, the basic, what the government does basically. And when we really have to probe and, make a lot of discussions, and when we ask them, are you happy in this, one-room hut? Then it's, we never knew anybody would, help.
Yes.
Assist us in building. Of course, this is the number one important thing, because without proper roof over our head, we cannot really focus or concentrate on anything else.
That's a very basic need, roof over our heads, I think, and then people in the community don't probably not expect like agency like Tarayana to help them. Now the other question is why we're here today. What is Tarayana doing here at COP28?
So, based on the theme, we're here to talk about our water security initiatives. So we're doing spring shut management. And as we know, while we have the highest per capita water availability in the country, many of our communities are suffering.
Yes.
And I think every other week we see a news about one community not having enough water. The story continues, and we have ventured into a nature-based solution, which is about harnessing the power of nature and making water more sustainable by involving communities.
Yes.
So this is a new concept, and it's our intervention it's only been about a year since our intervention, but early on we were doing more of watershed management. But in a geographical terrain like ours, spring shut is more effective. Okay. So now we are focusing more on that. And here we are basically to share, our water story. And today we also have a session on food and nutrition security for the last mile. Okay. Again, as I said, we're working with those communities where it's difficult for the government to reach. Yes. Because of the numbers and yes. their geographical settlement. So in those communities, how do we ensure nutrition security?
Yes.
In the larger scheme of things, when the focus is more on commercializing agriculture. So basically we're here to share that experiences.
Yes. So apart from sharing stories on food security and water security, are you also looking at maybe connecting with potential donors here? Has it been successful if it is so?
Well, that was one of the main objectives, but then it's not easy. It's difficult. However, we were able to network with similar partners, and I think in the process of coming here, so for the water section, we came together with the Department of Water.
Okay.
So for us, this was really, the process was a wonderful opportunity for the team from Department of Water to know what we are capable of and what we are doing in terms of water security. So I think for us, that's one of our achievements in sort of letting a government organization know what we are doing and how much more we can do, how we can partner in their initiatives. Government has water projects, so yes. opportunities to collaborate. But at the same time, we managed to meet some of potential partners.
Yes.
and hopefully some supporters as well.
Yes.
We did have a meeting where we discussed potential projects in the coming months.
You know, this is big. They said they have over 197 countries, 100,000 people here, and it's kind of difficult to connect because there's an open space here. But the fact that we have a Bhutan pavilion here and Tarayana is part of it, and then now people know that the Tarayana is here, and the things that you all do through your stories, I think I see possibility in future. You never know. Someday you'll say, okay, I saw this Tarayana session in Bhutan Pavilion COP28, and this is something that some people are interested. So I feel that it takes time. Some things take time, and if you're lucky, we get the immediate benefit out of it. But I think it will take time. The other thing I want to discuss with you is how many field offices do you guys have in the country? Because I know you guys have field offices in the country, so that unlike us, we are in the headquarters, and it's kind of difficult for us to really understand the local experience in communities. But the structure that Tarayana has, where you have field offices, you rotate again. Somebody will be in the headquarters and go to field. How many field offices are there, and what are their roles?
So currently we have 12 of them, 2 female, 10 male. And having field officers is what really sets apart Tarayana from the government, from any other agencies, because it's like having a foot on the ground, understanding the community's needs better or more than anybody. We spend a lot of time in the field. Our field officers, they basically live and work in the communities, and in the process they build trust and confidence with the community, and the communities will take us as one of them, and they will trust us. So that's one of the secrets of our success, because most of the interventions we carried out has been successful, and that's the reason.
Yes.
Having foot on the ground.
Yes, I think it's wonderful to understand what's there on the ground, hands-on. The other thing is, how we, the government agencies, are very sectoral. We have our own domain, and like you're saying, we don't function like Tarayana. You're like a full, complete, holistic, wholesome way of approaching things. So while doing that, because the government and other agencies are sectoral based, do you think that's a challenge for you all to work with government agencies, because then you have to ask one agency for one thing and other agency for other thing? And if so, how do you think the government agency should structure so that it's better for Tarayana, it's better for Bhutan?
I hope the transformation exercise will address that issue, because I think even people like yourself acknowledge that this is an issue, and for us, we're an outsider and we feel it more than I think people who are in the system. But we found a solution, I think, through the local government, through the extension agents. So our field officers, they work very closely with the extension agents.
Okay.
And if we are to do this at the central level, it'll take forever. And for us, all our interventions are time bound. We don't have the resources, both time and financial resources, to spend years in every community. So therefore we need to do things at a faster pace.
Yes.
And it helps to have people on the ground, government people on the ground, who are willing to cater services to the community's needs through us. So what we do is the field officers, they bring all these different stakeholders on the ground, extension agents, health, agriculture, livestock, and then they try to provide the services in a package.
Yeah.
Whereas on their own, they'll go at different times, they'll hold different meetings,
Yes.
and sometimes the communities also have meeting fatigues,
Exactly.
and they don't
Exactly.
have the
Totally.
time to attend like so many meetings. They have to work and make their livelihood. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think I've experienced myself working on a community-based tourism, of how we put stress to communities, meetings, and it's important maybe to have an agency like Tarayana to coordinating the whole thing and structure on behalf of government. So with this, Sonam, my colleague, it's been a pleasure speaking to you about Tarayana. Of course, a lot of people need to know about Tarayana, what they do. Back home, I think we're all busy in doing our own things. So it's hopefully through this session, I think people understand more about Tarayana and why they're here at COP28 and how we can support. I think now we know what Tarayana does. I think how we can support. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you one or two more good days for you and Tarayana, and hopefully this will lead to something better. But it's always a pleasure to have our partners here at the Bhutan Pavilion and sharing your ideas. So thank you once again. Have a great day.